so that the symptom manifests. That's not a solution. It appears to be, but it's not the solution. We need to change the condition of our body, and we have to accept the fact that we can't do it overnight. If it took us 50 years of accumulating negative effects, and we have a condition of our body that's screaming at us with all these symptoms, we can't expect those symptoms to disappear the very first day we start making better choices. So in the process of making better choices, we can use some of these other protocols, whether it's an herb or acupuncture or whatever. But we need to take responsibility and realize that none of our systems on this planet can help us. And this is probably the biggest fallacy in humans right now. We keep expecting the government to solve our economic crises, our doctors to find the cure for medicine. And what I've realized is that none of our systems can solve our problems for one simple reason. Anyone have any idea why? It's because every system out there, just about, is made up of us. And almost every one of us are sick. So how can we expect a sick system with sick individuals to help sick people? It goes back to us. We have to take responsibility. There's no one out there that can eat for you and think for you and exercise and get the sunshine and do all the things you need to do but you. And you have to realize that. And if we all took responsibility and did the right thing, then everyone else who's profiting off our suffering will just disappear because we won't be going to them anymore. Now, I realize how overwhelming a lot of what I'm going to be saying today is for a lot of people, but I want everyone to keep in mind that everything I'm saying tonight is something that every one of y'all can prove to yourself very easily. When you go on a juice feast, after about 4 or 5 days, the light bulb goes off because you're still having things come out of you. You shouldn't have that happen if all you're doing is drinking juices. So one of the best things every one of y'all can do is to give this a try. If you go to one of my students' websites, juicefeasting.com, the basics is on there for free. We don't want to make any money off this. We want to make a difference in life. And there's only one way we can solve our problems collectively, and that is for us individually to do the right thing and then share the message. This is the hero's journey. The first step on the hero's journey is, do you have the spiritual ears to hear this message? Well, here you are. Second step, do you accept the mission? And if you do, then you want to go out and gather allies. Find people of like minds. Attend these raw food potluck meetings. And then, most importantly, you got to share this information. And it's disheartening, trust me. I tell this message to everybody I see, no exception. I always try to figure out some way to bring up the subject. And it's disappointing. It's not well received like it should be. But it doesn't slow me down in the least. And I hope it doesn't for you guys either. So, if you get into the juice feast, what you're going to notice right off the bat is that you keep having eliminations. And that should pretty much make you put 2 and 2 together. Yes? Well, that's very important. I'm going to talk about that down the road when we go over that second page. We want to make sure we always have a bowel movement when we're doing a juice feast. You never want to go one day without a movement because we can reabsorb these toxins. And there's several ways to do that. And it's not my job to tell you how to do it. It's to give you the options to figure out which one sounds good for you to do.
John, were you the one that wagered poop every time?
I sure did. I have and it never occurred to me. Yeah, it never occurred to me, but I spent 1,500 hours perfecting a really complicated mathematical procedure to monitor my caloric activity. And with it, I can prove how to lose fat. I started to write a book on weight loss 20 years ago. I was spending 2 to 4 hours every day going through the calculations and matching the 7, 8 hours of exercise to the 5,000 to 6,000 calories I ate. And when I did that, I not only figured out how much I needed to eat, but then I realized why most people can't lose fat. They got to protect their lean body mass. And then when I did the first juice feast on day 10, after I had lost 5 pounds, then I realized, oh my God, where did I lose those 5 pounds? Am I losing my muscle? But I knew it wasn't. I was having bowel movements every day. And it never occurred to me to document that. Who would ever think of it? Well, on day 10, I started documenting. So out of the 903 days I've done this, 893 days, I can tell you exactly what came out, when it came out, how much it weighed. I'm a scientist. That's what scientists do. We document. I'm a food research scientist. I've been studying this for 22 years. And I have, to this day, I still document everything I do. After I did my long 90-day juice feast in '94, I worked really hard to clean out my system, and I wanted to make sure I didn't plug it back up again. So from that day on, I started weighing everything that came out of me, whether I was on the juice feast or not. And why? Because I want to know, if I eat something, how long is it going to take? Is it going to plug me up? Am I going to get in the same boat I was in before? And the good news for me is my bowel movements don't stink at all. And actually, some of them actually have a sweet smell to them. Hard to believe, isn't it? So yes, I've gone through great measures to figure things out. No one's ever done this before. I wish someone else had done this so I wouldn't have had to have done it. And then I continually experiment and try different things, saying, well, let's see what happens if I eat a little differently and I eat this at this time instead. I go, oh, look what happened. What usually comes out at 8 o'clock, it didn't come out till 2 o'clock. So I, again, have gone through a lot of, I've really worked hard to figure out how all this works. But anyway, let's go ahead and, if none of y'all have any other interest in as far as benefits go, let's go ahead and talk about the basic rules to juice feasting. The number one rule that I have on my list, I'm not even convinced anymore it needs to be on there, but I haven't taken it off yet, and that's not to combine the fruits and vegetables. When I first got into this a long time ago, several decades ago, that's what I read. They said, you don't mix the fruits and the vegetables, keep them separate. But I'm not convinced that's true anymore. Too many people do it and they don't seem to have any problems, so if you don't have any problems combining orange juice with kale, go ahead and do it. If you do, then don't do it. In fact, that's the number one thing everyone needs to do. Pay attention to what works for you.